Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to say goodbye to yet another one of our kind. Once a place full of life, a place to gather and break bread and create memories. For even though the end is near for our dear old friend, let us not weep, but yet rejoice in the good times that we had. Once a meeting place for those young and old, somewhere to enjoy company with friends and share the stories of our lives. At the risk of sounding blasphemous, the mall was the church of the millennial age. Food courts, arcades, prom dresses, and sneakers. But don't let the fading memory of yesteryear fill you with sadness. Be grateful for the times that we had as we look forward to the future and say goodbye to the past.
Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sandpit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad man. Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman. Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever, forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever young. Some are like water, some are like the heat. Some are a melody and some are the beat. Sooner or later they all will be gone. Why don't they stay young? It's so hard to get old without a cause. I don't want to perish like a fleeing horse. Youth like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. So many adventures couldn't happen today. So many songs we forgot to play. So many dreams swinging out of the blue. But let them come true. Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever, forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever, forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live
You know, maybe, just maybe, after thinking about it for over 6 years, Maybe we should stop trying to argue about where the blame lies for all of these malls that are dying in the United States, for all the malls that have been demolished and replaced in the United States, for all the malls that are struggling and go through a series of ownership changes, and for the most part, largely, ownership does not do a damn thing to fix these malls. And in most cases, places like Moonbeam Properties and Kohan Realty just sit on these damn places and let them rot for tax purposes. And to take that point one step further, you know, the great debate about shopping malls in my time as a YouTube creator has been what has really been the downfall of the American shopping mall. And maybe a part of it that has not been discussed largely in part is the owners. And now you're going to say, well, of course we've talked about the owners being the reason, but you know what? Maybe it's just the ignorance of the owners that the reason these places have failed. If you really think about it, this mall in particular, Cincinnati Mills, Forest Fair, Cincinnati Mall, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this place should never have been built in the first place. It was failing a year after it opened. It was in financial trouble early on, and a lot of people were opposed to it. Were there a lot of people that loved it? Yes, absolutely. But maybe what it boils down to as a large reason why shopping malls in the United States failed is not just because of Amazon and changing times and the internet and demographics and whatever you want to say, but maybe it's just because of one word: gluttony. In this country, we are very fortunate to be the most, the best country on earth, in my opinion. Some people may not think that, but I'm very happy and proud to be an American citizen. I know things can get ugly in the United States from time to time, probably now more than ever. But I mean, if you really look at it and you really think about it, maybe it's just America's arrogance that the reason why these malls failed. Now, granted, coming out of World War II, you had the suburban housing boom and people fleeing the cities and whatnot, and malls were popping up and doing successful for a while. But you know what? If you really dive deep into this, I mean, how many of these malls can you honestly say are extremely successful since the day they opened? Almost every one of them has a pattern of having a lifespan of, I mean, to varying degree, 10, 20 years, sometimes longer, sometimes less. But I mean, let's really think about it. Is there really one shopping mall in the United States today that has been open since the heyday of malls and is still 100% successful today? Can we honestly say that there is? And I don't know. As I was walking around this property a couple days ago, the story on why I was here again, well, I'll tell you in just a minute. I really thought about this quite a bit, and that's why I'm talking to you guys about it now. I really would like to have a good, educated discussion on this because we've, in the 6 years I've had this YouTube channel, all the places that I've been to, we've talked about a lot of things. We really, really have, just trying to, get it to a science as to why these malls are failing, or have failed, or are gone, and whatnot. And like I said, I really think a big problem was the lack of foresight by developers when they built these places and the lack of the developers to adapt to new situations. If you look at it today, the malls, quote unquote malls, even though they're not traditional retail malls anymore, that are doing okay or succeeding or keeping their head above water or whatnot, have found a way to adapt. And this place, this mall is just massive. And its counterpart, well, its sister mall, it's not a sister mall, but the other mall in the city, the Tri-County Mall, is closing in 2 weeks. And you've got to wonder if the days are numbered for the Forest Fair Village Mall. This place is the prime example. There has never been a place in all of the years and all of the malls that I have been to that we could honestly say has been a bigger failure. Just think of all the materials, the lighting, the wiring, the labor, the construction contracts, just all of the stuff that went into this mall and just how long it has been vacant for. If you really dig deep into the research and you look on YouTube, or if you find images, this place has been failing for a very, very long time. It's gone through several facelifts, which to no avail. Even the one in '04 was really a lost cause at this point. And this place has been sitting open for years now, even back to our Dead Mall Summit we did several years ago. with just wasting electricity. I mean, look at this place. There is nobody in here. There is no logical reason for this mall to be open. There is nothing to offer the consumer. There is a gym on one end to the right here that some tenant is probably paying, has a good deal on the rent, which is the only reason why they're there. But there is no reason to waste money on security, on the lighting bill. Can you imagine, even as this mall is probably only half lit, can you imagine how much the lighting bill is for this place for a day alone, let alone the past few years with nobody in it? I mean, it just has to be astronomical. And over the years, relatively speaking, this mall has been kept in, I suppose, decent enough shape. But you can start to see the wear on the old girl. She is ready to be put out of her misery. And now that I've talked about that for a minute, quickly, I want to tell you a quick story. The reason why I am at this property again is because I was going through this way. And, whenever I go through the territory of a mall that's still open, I always want to stop. But I was coming back from Mexico City, and unfortunately, I could not get out of Atlanta. Thankfully, I got out of Mexico and got back into the United States. But my flights from Atlanta back home to Buffalo, unfortunately, were all sold out. And if you're in the airline industry, you know that you fly standby, which means you don't have a guaranteed flight. So I had to make a decision, and that decision was to drive home from Atlanta to Buffalo. Now, I only had a limited amount of time to return to my home because I had to work the following 2 days later. So did a half and half, did 450 one day and 450 the next, and got home in a relatively short amount of time. But long story short, I was going through Cincinnati, and you know what? I wanted to stop and shoot one last video on this mall. I know there are hundreds of videos on this property. It's been a hot commodity. Unfortunately, folks like the proper people have been here, and a lot of explorers. And Dan was here, 6-7 years ago, like way back in the day. And even when he was here, this place was a dead zone. So I wanted to come back and film this place one more time and give you one last look, my eulogy, so to speak, at this property. I have been here several times, so if you want to see more in-depth information about the mall, go check out one of my previous videos, or one of my counterparts there, Sal, over at the Expedition Log. He did a video where he really dives deep into the history. That's more his thing, is to really, really tell the full story. So if you haven't already heard the story, which I'm sure most of you have, then you can go check out his video for more detailed backstory. So that's about it. I just wanted to come on and chat with you guys for a few minutes here. It's going to be back, and I'm looking forward to the content picking up here as the summer months approach. I have a couple more videos to show you, including a pretty unique concept. I told you guys this year the content was going to be more diverse. And coming up next, you're going to see a first for me. You're going to see an international video. I was in Mexico City, as I mentioned, for a friend's wedding, and discovered that Sears is alive and well. So I wanted to show you guys I'm not even kidding you. Are you guys ready for this? A 9-level Sears in Mexico City that is alive and well and thriving in a historic building. It even has a outdoor restaurant on the 8th floor. It is, for those of you that are Sears diehards or into the retail scene, you will not believe this next video. So that's going to be something cool. Not a dead mall, but something very unique in terms of the retail world. So thank you to the gentleman on YouTube for allowing me to show you a clip of his rare video that he put up on YouTube just a little while ago of the 1990 snapshot of Forest Fair Mall. And please consider supporting me on Patreon. Just so you guys know, 90% of these videos, me being a DJ, I have to include music. I know that I get demonetized for it, but I don't care. So if you appreciate my work and you want to really help support me, the best way you can do so, because most of these videos I don't make a penny on, I get demonetized by YouTube for using commercial music. Please consider joining me on Patreon. No more than $5 a month, please, at patreon.com/acesadventures. Every dollar on there helps for a little bit of gas and travel funds to keep this channel going in between my full-time job and my life as a wedding DJ. So I hope you all enjoy your upcoming holiday Memorial Day weekend, and I'll be back soon, like I said, with another video, most likely the 9-story Sears in Mexico City. This is Anthony with Aces Adventure. Consider following me on Instagram at AcesAdventures1, and if you like my content and you like the sound of my annoying voice, please consider subscribing, and just make sure that you leave a comment and a like. It does help the algorithm out. All right, I'm out of here. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'll see you back here soon with more mall content.